Hi guys, I just wanted to take this opportunity to show you kind of what you're seeing in Skyward and what it means. Uh, Being that we're making this switch over to try out standards-based grading, things are going to look pretty different. So I want to make sure that everything's clear. So this should be similar to what your student and or you can see on your end of Skyward. There's all these different color-coded bars, so I'll just tell you kind of what they mean. These bars have our learning goals, and our learning goals come right from the state and or national art standards. So this first color-coded bar here is blue, and it's titled Envision. So that's the title for this first learning goal that says, I can think of different ways to solve the same problem. So that's a learning goal. Then when it changes to pink, this is the next title, Observe, that goes with this pink learning goal. It says I can use photography to investigate a topic or part of my life. And then again, new title, Stretch and Explore with the orange here. New learning goal, I can experiment with different photography techniques. And it just goes on like that. If you ever see a box like this next to a learning goal, it'll probably have a plus. I already clicked on it to expand it. That means that there's events, which are kind of like an assignment, but they're called events for this learning goal. So you can see here we had an event third quarter that was due on January 31st, titled Stretch and Explore check number 1. And then way over here, this student got a 2 out of 4 on their learning goal scale. Now, just a reminder, events are not factored into their final grade because they're practice. They're kind of like practice or homework, but it is a pretty good indicator of where the student is at. So if this student wasn't happy with a 2, they would want to read the feedback and comments from me, maybe ask questions of other students, and then come and talk to me if they have questions so we can get them up to speed. So when we do the final checks for the Stretch and Explore goal, they can get higher than that 2. The place you'll see the final grade for a learning goal will be right next to the learning goal. So in this column that's light orange right here, when there's a final grade there, that'll be the grade that's factored in. So if they had a 3 or a 4 here, this one would be canceled out because that was just practice. So like this observe goal, there's no expand button here, so that means there's no events entered for that yet. Same thing here with connections. There's no expand button, so nothing's gone on there. Reflect has the button, and there are 2 events for Reflect that both happened third quarter. These are the dates they were due. If we go over here for this first one, this student got a 3 on the scale of 4. I want to tell you about this too, what this means. Just a star means that I haven't entered it yet, but if it's a bold star and it has this red box in the corner, this red box means that no evidence was turned in. That means that the student didn't turn in the work that they did, so I can't let them know how they're doing. So that's like a missing event. So that's something you kind of want to keep an eye out for. So I would just watch for low scores that they're not happy with, that they want to do some more practice, and or missing events, meaning that they didn't turn in any work or any evidence of how they're doing. So that's pretty much it. I will also next on this video just remind you about the scale so that students can figure out, because we're not on a full standards-based grading system yet, this is really intentional to make sure students know what their grade means. So if this grade is low, they know that what they need to work on is experimenting with different photography techniques. Whereas if it just overall says your student has a C, you don't really know why or what they need to work on or what they need to learn. So the standards-based grading is trying to be really clear about what areas your student needs to work on. We still do end up averaging out a grade at the end of the semester to determine GPA, and next I'll show you how that's figured out. So this is the scale that at the end of the quarter or the end of the semester we'll use to determine the final grade for the course. This helps us to translate standards-based grades across multiple skills to determine a traditional grade. Now keep in mind when you're looking at Skyward, those event scores that appear in the white columns, those are just practice. Those are not factored in to the student's final grade. The grades that are factored in are the grade that you find in at the edge, the right edge of the box that's in color that falls right next to the standard. So I would look across Skyward and look at all those standard scores or the learning goal scores and just average them out. So a student can look and say, you know, I mostly have threes, it averages out to 3, so I would be at about an A minus. Or, you know, I have some 2s and some 3s, it averages out to about 2.5, so I'm at about a B minus. So that can help them determine if they're happy with where they're at, or if they want to retry some things, or come in and spend some more time learning something to improve their scores. And this will help us to, like I said, to determine GPA in the end, and to help students as we transition if we're trying out standards-based grading. They might not totally understand what that score means, so this is letting them know where they would fall in the end. And I've shared this all with students in class, but I just wanted to make you guys aware also since it is kind of a big switch.